there, Director.
How do I get there again?
Any luck finding the armory?
None. Looks like it got shifted. We have rangers checking your sector.
Director Faden did a fine job handling this, especially considering how new.
I suppose, but the hits are still all over the place.
Even if it was a dream, I feel Darling reached out to me through the hotline. I have a feeling he and Trench won't be the only callers from the beyond.
Director, situation crisis. Uh-oh, in Foundation. We demand your attention, Oxy. Oldest house is in danger. We open the door, tree in maintenance. Hurry, post haste.
Problem in the Foundation. That was Auti's vacation spot. We need to check this out.
One fast travel later.
Dark, quiet, So that etching is the door. Okay, let's try opening it.
Yggdrasil, the World Tree. Foundation.
No time for sightseeing. The board said this was an emergency.
Shotgun.
Looks like no one's been down here in a while. crystals are kind of pretty. Emily would be having a field day down here.
My life's been a strange one. Certainly stranger than I'd like. But this place, it's something else. The floors crawl, the walls slither. It's a shifting pit. On the street, it's just another drab building standing there for anyone to see. But no one does. How do we miss it? Northmore. Acting director Northmore now is on a train from Washington. He'll expect answers, which is why I'm making these tapes. They're evidence that I'm at least trying to understand. Father searched his entire life for something like this, and we find it 1 week after he's buried. He always hated irony. Of course, Father, the great director, Ash, would have been the first man in. And look at me. Son, the supposed head of research who can't stop his legs from shaking long enough to step over the threshold.
The foundation. Bottom of the oldest house.
Marshall.
Stop the hiss.
Marshall? How is she on the hotline? Unless she's dead.
I only heard of the Foundation when I became head of operations. The very bottom of the oldest house. Director access only. Just the name alone is classified. Zachariah gave me a tour the day I was promoted. Said I should see it for myself, to understand. After that, I snuck down on my own from time to time to keep tabs on the place. And on them. But nothing ever changed down there. Not even the walls. It's solid, permanent, different from the rest of the house. Of course, they were always watching me.
Survive anything.
Did I just get turned around? Nope, I'm moving. At first, I thought the cave paintings in the Foundation chronicled ancient humans' encounters with natural occurrences like weather, but it soon became clear they depicted events far outside average human experience. Also, it seems I was wrong to assume the images are ancient. Radiocarbon dating suggests something impossible, that I've been down here longer than the paintings. What? That's absurd, though. Style and medium clearly indicate a Paleolithic origin. I was ready to conclude that an ancient community of humans lived in or around the oldest house. Now, this information, I don't know what to think. Is one of our agents drawing these, or is there someone down here with us? This place has a habit of skewing my results, so perhaps the data is corrupted. Or perhaps some paintings were created at different times. The art does seem to chronicle not only the past, but the present and possibly even the future. I see them in echoes of the board, some linear architecture, even what could be interpreted as a director. Are the paintings telling a story that is still being written? If so, who is writing it? Let's see what you do.
Anarchists are using pickaxes now.
Relocation order. Tom, you missed the good news. I'm sure the official memo will go out soon, but Northmore called an all hands at the crossroads to announce we're finally moving out of this hellhole and up into the house proper. Bureau Brass apparently solved the moving walls problem, or at least figured out a way to pinpoint where and when they happen. All I know is going up means goodbye darkness, goodbye weird lunches with that ex-Nazi scientist, and goodbye pissing into the pit. I know that was you, Barry. Northmore's ordering the Foundation sealed as soon as we can haul our stuff out and somehow convince Ash to come with us. He's the only one kicking up a fuss. This is long overdue. We've lost 11 men and damn near $10,000 in supplies moving between the entrance and the Foundation. And for what? Research? Ash is batty if he thinks we want to stay here and sift through more sand for him. It's just rusted iron flakes anyway. Did you know that? We are breathing that shit in. Super. All right. Let's see. This way. Foundation accident. Mr. Wilder, I have some bad news. You remember that Robert Ricardo fellow we brought in as a special consultant to map the lower caves? Well, today he found a chamber with weird eyes covering every inch of the walls and a strange black pillar in the center. Kinda looks like the one at the crossroads, but smaller. We had a bureau member shadowing him, but whatever happened in there did a number on our guest. The docs are taking a look, but it's pretty clear Mr. Adventure's exploring days are over. I know we were careful to limit this guy's exposure to the non-ordinary. Drugging him and carrying him through the upper floor was a real hoot, by the way. But we really need to reevaluate our policies on external contractors. Honestly, we'd be better off forming a special division trained in repelling and orienteering than subjecting more outsiders to the shit we deal with. They almost always end up dead or loony. Marcus.
The astral plane is cutting into our dimension. What if this happens in the upper floors? It'll destroy the bureau.
Cave bleed. Okay, shaking off the rest.
I wish I'd brought Emily with me. I could really use my head of research right about now.
Guess I'll figure out a way how to get up there later. Shotgun's not working out for me right now. Let's go with charge. No, not charge. Pierce.
Marshall? Marshall! You're alive! Wait! It's Jesse! The director! Whoa. This place is huge. Marshall? Can you hear me? She was on the hotline, so that person couldn't have been Marshall, right? One problem at a time. Let's see what's going on with that pillar first.
Investigate the nail. Nail door monolith is hurt. Touch revere it to enter. Repair the nail link to prevent astral consumption collision. This is director's duty plot. Authorized for a new single tool upgrade. Used to save the Foundation, us, Bureau. Left self or right weapon. Only one is permitted. Which will you choose become?
So I can only choose one? I thought I was done with these tests.
Choose the challenge. Left self will grant shape manipulate. Right weapon will grant fracture undo. Go for power. We are tweaking and cultivating the ability you. Minerals, roots, barnacles grow across the Foundation. Use new upgrade to shape inflate. First directed receive, earn this. You should feel honored, handled. Certain crystal formations crumble after being shaped. Meant to loosen the 4 locks, keys, MacGuffins. Oh fuck. Located in the fridge nowhere of the astral plane. Astral bleeding collision is spread lost them. Do this and they will be repaired, glued, crisis averted. P.S. Bonus round hits are present in Foundation. Trespassing, snooping is forbidden. Shaped into dangerously sharp points. Neat. Simple enough.
Okay, let's review. This broken pillar is called the nail. It was broken by something, and now the astral plane is bleeding into the Foundation, which will destroy the oldest house, the Bureau, and everyone inside. I need to find 4 locks, or keys, or whatever, to stop that from happening. But I'm the director. I've handled worse. This should be simple. Ish. You with me?
It's been 5 days since we first entered the building. Traversing the interior is dangerous due to the shifting, but we did manage to find a lower cavern that seems structurally predictable, which is a scientific way of saying its walls won't crush us in our sleep. Northmore even made a discovery. A pistol placed on a stone pedestal in front of that strange ebony pillar. Seems like something out of a storybook, except the heroes usually find swords, not
Where the
handguns.
service weapon came from.
But it is the perfect lure for someone like him. Hours after finding this weapon, Northmore cornered me to spout some nonsense about how the board had made him the director. He ranted about the title being meaningless before now, calling Father and all other previous directors shams, frauds, and worse. I think this place is worse for Northmore than it is for me. Strangest thing? There was no pedestal in front of that pillar a day ago. This building has swallowed a dozen of my men, and now it's handing out presents? Is it playing some sort of game? If it is, we're most certainly losing. Hell, we don't even know the rules.
His sharpened. His sharpened agents display the para-utilitarian ability to rapidly move short distances. This ability is unique in the fact that it's not associated with any known object of power. However, we should not discount the possibility that this ability is an object variation. For example, abrupt physical relocation could potentially be the variant of the jukebox's effect. Other explanations of his sharpened ability currently include momentary time manipulation, brief increase in physical speed, inhibiting the witness's sense of sight. The first one sounds like a JoJo reference. If we do accept that the Hiss Sharpen's ability is not connected to a known object of power, then the Hiss are either manifesting unique natural abilities, or there are objects in the house that we aren't aware of. Either way, the Hiss are continuing to develop new strains of corruption, and that is cause for concern. His copy or something like that? With the astral plane now physically accessible, a torrent of new information has been collected on the entities known as astral copies. The copies' bodies are composed of a dense stone-like material that is both resilient under controlled circumstances and brittle when struck with significant force. Whether the astral copies possess individual consciousness or are directed by a higher intelligence, such as the board, remains unknown. However, their shared aggression seems to indicate a unified goal. Director Faden's encounters with these entities when binding objects of power in the astral plane indicate they serve as live targets for potential para-utilitarians to practice on. Some have been equipped with Bureau weaponry, though it seems unlikely they were armed by our personnel. It's important to note that they appear immune to his corruption. Lock's keys keep socket us here. Okay. Two points for an ability. Let's see what looks fun. Shield barrage damage. Holding shield, use evade to rush at enemies and knock them back. Need a lot for that. More duration. More ground slam damage. More duration. More launch damage, always a good one. More energy, more health. Let's see. Now I'm at the crossroads. How appropriate. Ley lines. For all my research into the oldest house's ley lines, I still don't understand why they converge here at the base of the pillar. I suppose the simplest reason is that they have to converge somewhere. Occam's razor and all that. But that seems wrong. The esoteric world abhors coincidence. So, what is the true relationship between this pillar and the ley lines? Does it act as a magnet attracting them, polar north, or is the pillar a product of their focused energies? A sprout nourished by the constant flow of the oldest house's power? Perhaps classifying that power would provide some insight. However, we currently have no means of measuring or quantifying it. Given time, it may become possible to collect and even harness this energy. On that note, Northmore is bringing in the much-lauded Dr. Gustav Wagner from headquarters in D.C. to aid my research. I suppose this is his way of saying he doesn't trust me to work unsupervised. Let's just hope Dr. Wagner is as smart as his dearly departed Fuhrer once believed him to be. Yay, Nazi scientist. Foundation pillar. This pillar found in the crossroads is best described as an onyx spike that protrudes from the cave floor like an imposing stalagmite. Despite its aggressive silhouette, the structure has an undeniable allure. Freud would certainly have something to say about the pillar's overly erect nature, but I'm more drawn to Whitmore's essay on dynamic layers, structures within structures, the fractal mirror in every being. Given its significant location, I believe the pillar is either the very heart of the oldest house, or an intrusion within that heart. Or perhaps it's like the husk of a seed from which the oldest house sprouted. Trottier wrote that great architecture isn't built, it grows. But then why does the pillar look so different from the rest of the place's concrete walls and rocky caverns? It's easier to see it as an anomaly, a buried artifact, a foreign body, a demonic phallus. I wonder if this pillar is any more welcome here than we are. Spider. To the warehouse. That must be what the gun is for. Warehouse path. ritual in the warehouse. Warehouse. History of the oldest house. The oldest house has revealed much to me during my months in the Foundation, but many questions remain. Primarily, the tree etchings bewilder me. What is their significance? If the house has changed shape over its lifetime as I've theorized, then was a tree its first form? I sent a team to the Schwartzman building in search of pre-settlement accounts of Manhattan Island. From those I discovered a single relevant line, and there I found a tree not known to me, the devil twisted within its bark. That line, taken with the fact that certain American cultures believe some trees would offer wisdom and guidance, is indeed interesting. However, it's hardly firm evidence, and though I am now bound to the oldest house, I remain a man of science. Of course, there are numerous ancient beliefs regarding trees. Yggdrasil, the tree of knowledge, Yaximax Shea. Some cultures offer blood sacrifices to trees, while others claim trees endowed chosen individuals with inhuman powers. Do New York City's many murders act as a sacrifice for the oldest house? Does the house have a chosen champion? Is it me? Shower. Pyramidic geometry. I've been going through my library researching pyramids and triangles. If that shape does relate to the board as Northmore says, then perhaps our predecessors in the occult can offer some insight through their geometric knowledge. In esotericism, the triangle is closely associated with the Holy Trinity and other three-part concepts. Past, present, future, mind, body, spirit. Interestingly, the term board also implies multiple parts. Upright triangles in Judeo-Christian imagery indicates ascent into the rational divine realm. Inverted, it signifies a descent into the corporeal human. Naturally, the ascent is masculine and the fall is feminine. Adam and Eve. That's just a bit of old world patriarchy. It's 1964 now, and we're well past that silliness. Considering the above, what does the inverted triangle tell us about the board? They're clearly not corporeal or human. Perhaps they wish to be, or they once were. The likeliest answer is simply that theological imagery cannot help us define alien entities. But still, the pyramids seem significant. Shapes have power, and clearly so does the board.
Is this a Bureau ID badge? It looks so old. Hope will definitely want to see this. Weird place to leave an ID card, but okay. Another ID card. For a cartographer.
Days now spent inside what we're calling the oldest house. Northmore insists on the name. I'm too tired to ask why. I'm not sleeping well. Per orders, me and my research team have established a permanent examination lab in the Foundation. I basically live down here now, like the obedient head of research Father raised me to be. I spend my days investigating that odd pillar where Northmore found the handgun. The work was half-hearted at first, I admit. But then I discovered numerous non-Aristotelian energy channels converging at its base. Ley lines, dragon roads, Hylogalinian, call them what you want. But this pillar is the crossroads. I started building something. Equal parts talisman and technology. An array that can impose order on the ley junctions. That's the idea, at least. You'll see when I'm done. I prefer to work away from the pillar. I'm not the only one.
working. It won't go any higher. I wonder if I can charge it up somehow.
Power cords. After numerous attempts, I finally found a way to intercept and contain the ambient energy of the ley lines in a kind of non-Aristotelian battery I've dubbed the power core. I admit it was difficult capturing energy I can barely measure, much less interact with. Luckily, it seems that the porous stone of the Foundation's caverns possess such conductive qualities. Using stone flakes and copper wire, my power cores collect significant power. My early prototypes collected too much, in fact, but I've since reinforced the container. We don't yet know the repercussions of tapping into this power field. As a precaution, these devices should not be taken outside of the house. Ideally, the Bureau should no longer need to rely on typical energy sources. It's my greatest feat of engineering yet. I've always had an interest in invention. I like the creativity that it allowed, set within the firm boundaries of logic and physics. Father never approved, calling it a mundane science. With that in mind, I dedicate this invention to Theodore Ashe Sr. May he scowl in peace.
Entry day plus 51. Northmore has ordered an all-hands search for objects similar to the service weapon. He claims there are more in the house, though I don't see how he's so certain. He's been strange lately, talking about joining greater causes, and frequently mentioning the pyramid. After pressing him, he finally described this pyramid to me. Inverted, black, mathematically perfect. Oddly enough, Adam and the other id have shown me numerous inverted triangles painted on the cave walls. Surely there's a connection. But I don't see it yet. As far as occult symbols go, triangles are by no means rare. Flood, Levi, Kroll, they used that shape like it was going out of fashion. Standing on their base, triangles signify stability and strength. Inverted on their points, they represent conflict and stagnation. Of course, the orientation is just a matter of perspective. Looking at the pyramid from below gives you one, from above another. Northmore says he looks up at the inverted pyramid. I have to wonder, is anyone standing over it, looking down?
Probably not. Doesn't look good up there. Now where am I? No one? These spells are short and sweet. Be many eyes. Faker's blow. Looks like hell. Maybe later I'll get the other ability.
That damn gun. Faith. Not sure she's ready.
I'm here, aren't I? I saved the Bureau once, and I'll do it again.
Becoming director.
I've served under 2 directors. 3 now, I suppose. Trench and I worked our way up together. We made it through the tough cases, the bad days, the casualties. He was the epitome of a good agent. Smart, decisive, selfless. Then he picked up that damn gun. Becoming director is a formal process overseen by the board. Lots of ritual and mystery. After that, key staff provide detailed briefs on all classified matters, past and present. But with Faden, well, there's no protocol for field promotion. The girl's smart, has a good head on her shoulders. I'm trusting her to handle the hiss upstairs, while I hold them off here. All this shit with the nail, the board, I'm not sure she's ready. Besides,
A bullet
I
with
work
a
better
nail in
alone.
it. Sweet. Not sure which way I want to go. Thank you. Foundation etchings. My explorations of the Foundation have resulted in yet another mystery, a fascinating series of etchings on a large stone tablets. The tablets themselves are likely not native to the Foundation, seeing as they're slabs of sedimentary stone, quite different from the cave's categorization, defying rock. Their placement and form are also too intentional to be naturally occurring. But who braved this place to carry them in, and for what purpose? I discovered a 5-point macro entanglement between the tablets, with a pillar at its center. These links seem to extend beyond our level of consciousness to some astral realm I can't detect. Is Northmore's board somehow tied to all this? The etchings on these tablets are similarly curious. They differ from the cave paintings in style and technique, so are clearly not of the same origin. Are they the visual narration of some event, or do they indicate intent, with a wish, a plan? They only seem to consist of a tree and the pillar, but the sizes of either are inconsistent. What does that signify? I'm missing key pieces of this puzzle, and it's unlikely I'll ever find them. Good. Warehouse. Still in the same column, I guess. Yggdrasil again.
Another etching, like the one I used to get in here.
Oh god, not one of you. Oh fuck, I hate you so much. Ah. Alright, Mr. Tablet. Locks. Ancient. Reason. Avalon.
Is this the lock/key the board told me about?
That looked like that spider. Or the thing from the fridge. Well done, seasoned. Only 3 keys tethers remain. Our nail is rebuilding, loosening.
Just doing my job. First one down. Director Faden's got this covered. Ability points. Let's see. Let's do the shield rush one. Holding shield, use fade. Let's up 2 more. Let's upgrade my ground slam as well. Meteor Hill supplement. Note, per archival mandate, this document has been edited to meet current administrative standards. Certain terminology may be out of date. The retrieved material was subjected to Fellstrom's array configuration 74B, but the tests were halted as matter began to physically elude the equipment. Attempts to constrain the element were made, but under further stress became vaporous. The researchers suffered corrosive injuries prior to their deaths. Oh, Jesus. The child victims at Meteor Hill recounted the material enveloping them in a pleasant manner upon making contact, but when discovered, they were blank and screaming. Bodily changes were perceived immediately. Deformities, loss of pigment in the skin and hair, and mental symptoms surfaced in subsequent examinations. Confusion, heightened aggression. The Department of Public Knowledge and
diversions gave statements claiming the incident was caused by debris from poorly made Russian satellites, which the public accepted with no complications. The children were sent to the Bureau's recuperation facility in Blank to receive help away from society. Machine here, I think. Oh. Seize accelerator. Alright, well, let's take this all the way down then. One more quick load. I guess no fight here this time. Must be some way to open this.
Another one of those ID cards.
That makes
Security chief.
Meteor Hill summary. Let's see. This paradimensional occurrence consisted of 3 sequential sinkholes induced by subterranean implosions, revealing foreign material of magmatic qualities. A local chapter of the Youth Science League were participating in an archaeological dig on the hill when the event occurred. Many boys were injured in the resulting collapses. Some touched the magma directly. Bureau agents arrived at the scene 7 days after the incident. Samples of the lava-like material were taken. The area was quickly sealed off from the public as per our recommendation. Our aim was to ensure all remnants of the material were rendered inoffensive, but the magma descended too deeply into the earth to retrieve. Foul-smelling odors were detected in the area, which were hypothesized being the dissipated elements of vapor trail left at the scene. All acquired material was delivered to Washington for examination in the Bureau's on-site laboratories. Really? Frank, I reviewed your report of my latest medical. I was disappointed to see that you believe my connection to the service weapon and the board are products of delusion brought on by the stresses of leadership. You witnessed my feats firsthand. You yourself declared my body temperature impossible. These are no delusions. They are the product of divine collaboration. The board has awoken in me a power beyond your understanding, and that power will only continue to grow. Your job is to merely ensure that I survive my gift, and with absolute discretion. To that end, my gifts are best used with a degree of mystery that your needles and probes betray. No further medicals shall be required. I forbid you to speak of this matter with your colleagues, especially Dr. Ash. Under no circumstances do I want him involved. Keep your mouth shut and keep me alive. The board knows what I have become, and theirs is the only opinion that counts. Sincerely, Dr. Director Broderick Northmore. I believe he's the one that ended up as the power plant.
send a ranger to my location?
Oh.
Nice to see a director out in the field.
Interesting. Since I'm getting my butt kicked, let's have some more health. Alright, that'll do it for tonight, though.